Let's catch up with the head coach of the Utah Mammoth, André Tourigny. It's time to go inside the coach's room. Well, thanks for coming back inside the coach's room. I'm Petey, and today we're going to catch up with the head coach of the Utah Mammoth, André Tourigny. But before we do that, I want to talk about why we're talking to André Tourigny. I tell you what, the Utah Mammoth in their first season improved on what they had done in Arizona, and they continue to improve every year under André Tourigny. And now, with the big trade that has J.J. Peterka coming to the Utah Mammoth, and I still think this is a team that's going to be really active in free agency. I don't think they're done. I don't think we're done seeing a big splash from the Utah Hockey Club. I think their ownership with Ryan Smith has put out a mandate to make a splash in the National Hockey League in this market, show the market works, show that he's willing to spend money. They're doing improvements to the Delta Center, as well as building a brand new practice rink that should be ready here by the time training camp rolls around in Salt Lake City. So let's hear from the man himself. This is recorded before the draft at the NHL Coaches Association Global Clinic. So let's check it out. Let's hear what André Tourigny has to say.
And we keep talking about these special guests today, a very special guest today, a friend of the program, the head coach of the Utah Mammoth, André Tourigny. André, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Petey. Always a pleasure. It was nice to reconnect with you a little bit. That's cool.
Yeah, it's old times.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about this coaches clinic first. And we were seeing coaches from juniors up through American League and colleges.
Yep.
How important it is to you for a guy that's come through all those ranks to give back to these communities?
Well, I think it's been a big part of my journey and my growth to come here because, okay, you start with your own craft, but you need to tweak it and improve it all the time. You know, the big thing in my philosophy as a person, but as a professional, is you need to status quo doesn't work. So you need to always improve and always find ways. And when you come at those, you improve. At the beginning, you improve by 40%, and then by 30, by 20, and even at the end when you improve by 10 or 15%, it's huge because it's not that easy to get one little detail that will make a difference in your teaching on your approach with the player or so on and so forth. So those things are important for the growth of the coaching across North America.
But you talk about you as a coach. You're at the pinnacle of the coaching, the best league in the world. Does a guy like you still learn? Can you learn something from these junior guys?
Oh, yeah,
even?
absolutely. Sometimes it's an expression, sometimes it's a detail in the system, sometimes it's a point of view, sometimes it's technology, sometimes it's a day-to-day routine or so on and so forth. So I think you always think something like that, put in your structure or in your world, and that improve everything. So yesterday we had the opportunity to have a bunch of NHL coach who talk and share experience. There's a few things that sometimes it's taking the experience of another guy, putting in your luggage and say, okay, that's interesting. Just example, talked with Chief yesterday, and Chief always talked to his team after a game. I never do it. Okay, and some player talked to me about that this year, so I was kind of, okay, well, what's the advantage of it? And sharing with Chief, and he explained me why and what that create and everything. I think it's really good. So now, what will I do with that? I don't know yet, but it's up there, and because people think I'm really calm. Not always. Yeah. So I need to control my temper and make sure after the game where will be because I don't believe in doing it not all the time.
Yeah.
Because the day you're not coming, the player wondering, "Whoa, what's going on?" Yeah. You don't. I want clarity with the player. I don't like when it's not black and white. I don't like when you let them in the no man's land. So I don't want to be that guy who, okay, because I'm mad today, I'm not talking. That's not the way. You need to be there for the good day and the bad day. So that's something I might have to do.
You talk about Craig Berube, and it's interesting because you always think of you're competing against the guy across
Yeah.
you, and it's so combative, and it is competitive. Do you have a pretty good camaraderie, and are guys pretty willing to visit and talk and have a friendship outside of the ring?
No, not a lot in the NHL. It's they're so competitive. You will those kind of thing absolutely. But the example, what you do in the D zone when the guys climb the
Yeah.
wall,
No.
you will have a generic answer, which
Yeah.
it's not what you want. You want the little detail
Exactly.
and what's your trigger and everything, which is I always been really open in junior because I always thought, hey, the time you will adjust that, I want to be somewhere else, and if I'm not somewhere else, if I did not improve, it's on me. What was good for us yesterday should not be good enough today, so we should have get better. In the NHL, there's a business side of it where you're getting a little bit higher and the detail are a little bit tougher to find and to take an edge. So I'm trying to. Nobody never give me a little cookie on the side and the.
But you find it though, like in the playoffs right now, you get an opportunity to watch a team in depth, and you see things. Are you taking things from these playoffs and go, gosh, that might be good for the Utah Mammoth?
1,000%. And we have a guy like you, PD. You know that there's no secret in the game. You just need to find the little nugget. It's there. Look at Florida play, and there's a little nugget here and there. And you look at the Ottawa play, and there's a little nugget there. I travel a ton during the playoff. Went across watching game live.
Do you really?
Oh yeah, I went everywhere.
That's great.
Yeah, that was amazing because the last 4 years I was at the World Championship.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the chance to see the first 3 rounds. I was coming back. Was the end of the conference final and the final, but there's a lot happened before. There's a lot of momentum swing, or there's a lot of game management, or there's a lot of little details and whatever the series. And one interesting thing I realized every series was different.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Winnipeg and St. Louis. That was a war. That was a train wreck. You look at Dallas, Colorado. That was a Stanley Cup final. That was unreal. You look at Toronto, Ottawa. It was totally different. It was super defensive, super conservative, and so every round had its own flavor. That was not everybody do the same thing. So that was interesting, and there was a bunch of things like we take hundreds of little details, and what can we do with that? There's stuff we just put there the little nugget. We don't know yet where it fits. It's good. Well, okay. Well, we'll see when we can use it and how we can use it and how we can fit
and
it
how
in our
it fits your team too,
exactly.
Because your personnel is going to be different than what you're saying in Florida.
Exactly. So there's a bucket of those things. That's good, but doesn't fit in us yet, or even in that style of play we have right now. But it's good. We just know it's there. So I think you need to have that mindset. I think that league, you've been in that league for a long time. It's a continuous grind and competition and a race of who improved the most and who keep improving. And I take a lot of pride in that, and the competitive juice and making sure we're on top of it.
Yeah, and I think too, like you said, if you aren't changing and you're trying to do something different, you're not going to make it very long.
Petey, my staff will laugh at that because when they tells me that's how we did it last year, oh my God, I cannot help myself. I just steam. I'm steaming right away, and I have to talk to myself. If we did it last year, were we the best in the world? If the answer is no, but why the hell we keep doing it? If the answer is yes, don't you think the other team will try to catch up on us and beat us? We need to find a way to improve that. We do like last year. For me, is the worst thing. We need to improve all the time. There's sometimes we do like last year because we didn't find a better way. Okay, we're not perfect. We cannot ask ourselves to be perfect. We try, but okay, I understand that part. But we need to try to always evolve and get better.
Yeah, and the one question I always get is, well, hey, the Florida Panthers do it, and they're really good at it. Why don't you do it?
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to the personnel you have. But I want to talk about Utah. And first, I want to talk about the transition, because the move from Arizona to Utah, There's a lot of things involved. How was the transition in the start getting you started in Utah at the beginning of last
Yeah,
year?
yeah, there was honestly the ownership there was unreal in PD. And what we did not know when this transfer started, we thought we were going to build a new organization. And everything. It's not the fact. You need to understand the Jazz has as many employees than the Maple Leafs. So we didn't arrive in no man's land.
Yeah.
We arrived with, we knew the market, we knew the court, we knew uh, the area to live, we knew the school, we knew the hospital, we knew that
Yeah.
there were there were no facility, there were no jersey, there were no name, but all the rest that was amazing actually. And the ownership is
Yeah.
Ryan and Ashley. They did everything. They were really committed to make everything smooth for everybody. That was amazing.
I've heard that from owners, Andre, before. And we're here, we're committed to winning, and you're
Yeah.
committed. Yeah, but until you see it, and I know enough people there that
There's a few things, Petey. If you're a people guy, you'll catch up. I will tell you the first thing is when Ryan and Ashley meet us the first time, they never use the word I. That was we, and Utah, and we do that for Utah, etc. So that was one. The second thing is, which nobody talked about that, but for me it was, wow. When we land that day on April 23rd, that was amazing reception from the kid and everything. But the people who drove all the player and their family around in the SUV was all the executives of the Jazz, the CEO, the COO, the CFO.
Really?
Exactly. I was kind of that. Those people, and they were smiling, happy. I was amazing, and I could not make it the first day, the visit, the neighborhood, and everything because I had press conference and stuff. So they organized something, and the next day with the CFO who drove me around. I was wow.
Yeah,
That
and
was
especially
unreal.
when it's so hard. Like you're moving your entire life, and you get that kind of support.
Oh,
That's phenomenal.
no, that's the point. The culture of SEG. It started with Ryan and Ashley throughout the organization, their values and the way they run things. So that was great.
I do want to talk about the facilities because we talked a lot about the Delta Center and some of the similarities from America West and Arizona. But I'm sure you've seen the images of what's going on at the Delta Center like today. I know Stan right now is freaking out because I don't know how the hell they're going to get this done in 3 months.
Oh yeah.
But talk about the facilities because the practice facility, from my understanding, one is going to be ready to go and it's going to be fantastic. Where is the Delta Center and the new practice room?
Hunter actually sent me a picture yesterday of the new practice facility, and it will be.
It's amazing.
I don't know what to say. It's just
as good as there is in the league. Like you're with the best in the league.
It's 100,000 square feet, Petey. The best I know so far in the league is 38.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
That's and just tell you how big it is. There's space where we move the wall up, and it's empty space behind just because there will be new things in 5 years from
that you
now.
don't know.
We don't know. We just don't know. Will it be something with the
video or the work
video or the artificial intelligence or whatever? I don't know what it will be. I don't know.
That's Corey
but we
Schwab,
have room for that.
It's
It's unreal.
Yeah, and I do want to talk about the hockey too, because I know the fan base there was really supportive of this community, and you see the Utah fans are very excited. But I want to talk about hockey.
Yeah.
And when you came your first year in Arizona, and I know it's a different franchise, and we've talked about that a lot. It's not. It's still the same core. You started your first year 57 points, then 70, then 77. Last year, a 12-point improvement again to 89. Is this team on track for the rebuild, and are you getting closer to that next step?
Yeah, I think we're exactly on pace. I think, to be honest, when we started, we say 5 years before we're contender. I thought that because you were there, we stripped it down pretty good.
Yep.
I thought that would be tough for 5 years. That would be, and honestly, we're there. It's I think we're right there. It's not easy. You talk about the improvement every year. This year, Calgary did not make it with 97.
Yeah,
so that's 8 more points than we need to get to 97. So it's not a gimme, but I think we're right there. I think we have the talent.
Yeah.
We were the second youngest team, and as much as I love everyone on our team, there's a price to goes with the youth.
Yeah.
It's just
It is.
it's not because they're no good. It's just they're learning things, and same thing for coaches and stuff like that. That's fine. But now we need to keep growing. We're on pace. We cannot overdo it or over pressing, but we believe in the group we have. I really love the progression of our young guys. I really love the the sport of our veteran and the veteran presence, leadership, knowledge, winning pedigree we have in our room. Uh, we'll know a lot more in the next 2 3 weeks, which is exciting. But I like the trajectory.
And that's funny because we're not going to get into who this team may sign. That's not this kind of a show, but they've got an owner that wants to win, by the way, and that does help. I do want to talk about some of the experience, and I do want to talk about a few specific players. One of the things I believe that teams win from defense and from the defense out. I think that's incredibly important. And I look at the defense core of the Utah Mammoth, and you're talking about Ian Cole, Olimata, John Marino, some very experienced NHL guys. Unfortunately, went through some injury things. Dursey was hurt, Marino was hurt. But when you have that core back together, what's your confidence level in the guys you have on the back end?
Boy, extreme. It's simple. Since Marino's back, we're 11th in the league.
It's unreal.
So and Dursey was not there yet.
That's right, he's still hurt.
That is, I will say January 13. It was against Montreal, so I'm pretty sure it's the 13th of January. From there, we're 11th in the league. So, it's I agree with you. It started in the back end and go up, and but at the same time, we need to be careful in that we had unbelievable goaltending,
Yeah, you did.
and we didn't have a lot of injury from there. So,
Which you had in the past.
exactly.
You've had injuries in the past.
But from that January 13, we were pretty healthy, and NHL, you will have injury. I knock on wood. I don't want, but there's no team.
Yep.
Last year we didn't have injury up front for the Enter 2024. The first game we're missing up front, Clayton Keller was sick in Edmonton. That's between Christmas and New Year's. Let's say December
Late in the
30th.
season. Wait, for what other
Yeah,
teams start off with, that's great.
That was unreal. So, we need to be careful of looking at it and thinking, "Oh, okay, we're good." That will be. I think Anaheim is coming, and the other team is coming. So we won't be the only one who raise the flag and say, "Hey, we want to have a piece of it." And the team who are in it, they won't invite us in. They will keep us. They will try to keep us outside. So it will be an unbelievable battle. I strongly believe in our group. I know they're highly motivated, and I'm so excited for next year.
You mentioned Clayton Keller, and he's a guy that we knew very well. Saw get drafted in Arizona and saw how he matured as a better two-way player and how he's come along in this game. This last season with Utah, he finally put on the seat. Yep. And I'm curious to see, I saw his performance on the ice, but how was Clayton Keller at maturing to the level and being responsible to be a leader on this team in Utah?
Yeah. I think we'll write a book on how much Cal's mature in 4 years. I can't believe it. And I joke with him about that. His level of maturity and confidence in 4 years. My first year, I thought he will be a great leader. I wasn't sold on possibility of captain.
Yep.
My second year, I started to say it. And even then, I raised some eyebrows. People were, what? I was kind of, His improvement was unreal. And then in year 3, people were saying, okay, I see what you said. His improvement is his maturity, his calmness, is the way he take care of his teammate, and that always been the way he competes when push comes to shove. And now he's, like you said, more complete player 2 ways. He play more inside. He's going in dirty areas, and he still make his play and stuff. He's great for us, and he's not a talker. You know that.
No, he doesn't lead that.
He's just a great example for everybody because his determination is second to none.
Yeah, when you see, and then unfortunately nationally, Utah gets on TV a little bit, but they're in the West, and people are watching Boston, Pittsburgh, and that's the way it is. And I think one thing with Clayton Keller, when he played the All-Star game with Austin Matthews, you go, oh my goodness, this kid playing. I think he started to get on the map, but when Clayton Keller gets that chip and he's a little mad, the competitive level, I can't wait to see him in the playoffs. But that brings me to two young players that are becoming the focus for Utah, and they're still finding their way in this league, and I still think there's a lot of growth there. But Logan Cooley and Dylan Gunther. Yeah. And we talk about the youth and the mixture of the youth and the veterans. What do you see from those two kids and expect from them coming into camp this year?
Yeah, it's funny because people, when Guns, example, signed his contract at the beginning of the season, people were, what's going on? Us, we were kind of, we had the same reaction at seeing the reaction of people. How the hell that people are surprised? He's a star. And it's the same with Cools. Everybody talk about we were kind of, we knew that. Yeah. We expected that. You know what I mean? Cools is it's great because he doesn't look like he cares. Well, oh God, he cares. And he competes. Everybody, he's so competitive. That is a big thing with him, working with him and saying, hey, okay, you need to not get emotional because he's so competitive. When it doesn't work right away, he's trying too hard. So the potential is what I like about those guys. Above the fact they're good hockey players, they're so competitive and they want to do the right way. And they're a good person. They're genuinely good teammate, good person. So it's exciting.
Well, what's next? You've got this. The draft is coming up soon. So what's next in your list of checklists?
We have a coaches meeting, not this week, but the following week, which it's interesting because, like I said, we have a bunch of projects on different thing in the game with different nuggets we want to have, and that will be fun. And then after it's pro scout meeting, draft, free agency, def camp, and then
it never ends.
Well, after July 4th, I will be
finally get a break.
Yeah.
Have you been on the motorcycle yet?
I did one ride. I went in the Zion Park.
Oh, it's beautiful!
Oh my God,
that's beautiful.
That's the best keep it secret in the world.
One thing about the Utah community there, that you can get out of town so quick and big in the mountains, and it's just beautiful.
Seriously, you can golf in the afternoon and go ski in half an hour later.
That's unbelievable.
That's a nice place.
Well, I'm so grateful that we got this time to catch up. And I know next time, I did talk to the PR guys, so just in Utah fans, be ready. We're going to get to talk to André a little more. Because I do want to talk, we'll get into Simishev and Boots and closer to training camp and those kind of things. I think this was just kind of a check-in to see where Utah was. I'm excited for this team. I think they're going the right direction. I've always liked what Bill Armstrong has done. I like what you've done. But the testament to you, André, is when you lose your first year, it's hard. I've been on teams that are losing, and to get guys that still want to come to the rink, when you're losing, it's incredibly hard. And guys like playing for you.
So, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks for taking the time, André. Thanks for catching up, and thanks for joining me inside the coaches' room.
Well, a big thanks to André Tourigny and the PR staff of the Utah Mammoth for giving us a chance to talk to André. And I tell you what a good man. And we talk about what he does for that club. And when he went to the Arizona Coyotes, you have to look at where that team was in the rebuild. I mean, man, that team was struggling, and there was a team that wasn't going to get many wins. And I've been around those teams. 2015 with Dave Tippett, and we had a year with Rick Tocchet that started the season with 11 straight losses, still a franchise record in Arizona until Arizona 2.0 starts. And it's hard. It's hard to go to the rink every day when you're losing and a team that's underperforming and doesn't have the talent to beat other teams. It's hard. It's hard to find those little wins. And I will say this, when the Arizona Coyotes went through that with André Tourigny, you saw guys still excited to go to the rink and guys coming to the rink with smiles on their faces when they were going through losing streaks. And I think André was a guy with his communications, and he understood the expectations of what that team was and where they were in the rebuild. But he made it a fun place to go, and it wasn't difficult through these losing streaks to keep guys interested and engaged and working on their game and trying to develop, and it's paying off now. And I think that's what you're seeing in Utah. You're seeing them finally getting through that, and you're going, okay, with the addition of Peterka and free agency still to come, you're looking at a Utah team that's going, gosh, maybe? They're closer. I still want to temper things, though, because you look at the Western Conference, the top 6 teams, the top 3 from each division, they're playoff teams. They're playoff teams. And so you get down to the wild card teams and some of the teams they're chasing. Yeah, Utah's in that bunch. They're in there with Vancouver and Calgary. I'm not sure where Minnesota fits in now that they're away from the Suter money, and they've got a little more money to spend in the Parisi money. And the St. Louis Blues. I mean, you look at the 2 wildcard teams and the teams around them. Utah's in that conversation. So it's going to be a fun year to watch in Utah. So keep your eye on it, and we'll try to check in with André Tourigny once in a while because he's such a good person. He's a good guy to catch up with. So thanks for going on this little ride with me and checking out what André Tourigny has to say and what's going on in Utah with their coaching staff. So thanks for coming inside the coach's room. Make sure you subscribe as the summer goes on. I know there's not a lot of new film to break down, but we're still going to teach the game of hockey. We're still going to look at some system play. We're going to try to get you ready for what happens next season. So make sure you subscribe to Inside the Coach Room and keep your eye out because I'm going to do a little short documentary on Inside the Bubble, what life was really like in the 2020 playoff bubble in Edmonton. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Thanks for joining me Inside the Coach's Room. I'm Petey, and we'll see you at the rink.